because we're going for a more realistic story with some more mature themes, we're also having to go with, and I think it's a good thing, we're going with a more realistic art style, a gritty art style. You know, there's areas of the city that are kind of scummy, like real cities, and you know, there's some heavy-duty enemies and some heavy-duty weapons that happen that aren't necessarily over-the-top fantastic. They're real. They're based on, you know, military equipment.
Once the initial design is laid out, I go and develop this thing called a style guide. So this sort of outlines visual style, characters that we want to introduce, color palettes especially.
It would have similarities to Manhattan as far as it's an island and it's got, you know, different boroughs and different areas and, you know, surrounded by water and coastline somewhat familiar. So we modeled it off of different cities, taking ideas from them to create what would be quickly acceptable as a big city feel.
We really decided to take our physics system to the next level as well. So when Hulk runs into a car or slams it or pushes it back in the world, it will react realistically. And because he's so powerful, it's going to fly.
Every single FMV that we have in the game, including just basically all of our non-interactive sequences in the game, we did motion capture to kind of capture that experience to basically go right along with the voiceover.
In the motion capture studio, the actors actually act out from the boards and sound files that we give them. We start with animatics, blocking it out, the timing and whatnot, taking what we can from the motion capture, and then we'll move into final animation. That's keyframing, facial animation, the final touches.
A lot of our animations actually involves us acting it out. We will take a camera and we'll actually perform whatever move is required. Currently going to show you some weaponization animation that we're working on.
For weaponization, we really want to offer the ability for the player to interact meaningfully with all these props in the world. So he can knock a car out of his way if he's just running down the street, but he can also grab that car and toss it at enemies. He can toss it at a tank, he can toss it at a helicopter and pluck it out of the air. He can also grab many of the objects in the world and then change the shape of them to change the gameplay meaning.
The current one I'm going to show is called Ball and Chain. It's basically a mace-like prop that Hulk wields around.
There are tons of different types of weaponizations in the game, and they're released to you chapter by chapter as you go through the experience. So we think people will get a lot out of it.
It's a pretty lengthy process sitting with the writers and working out the script. But that script is really going to dictate, essentially the Bible for the rest of the game, of where we're putting our FMVs, where we're putting our NISs and cinematics in the game. There's a storyboard of our villain Blonsky talking to his wife, but his wife is actually a photograph of her. He's losing his mind, and the photographs are talking back to him.
No, it's not like that. I promise. I'm not afraid of the mutation anymore. Not when I have this kind of power.
The Abomination is like a dark reflection of the Hulk, whereas the Hulk generally does the right thing. Abomination has no qualms in indulging all of his darkest fantasies.
He's the one who is theoretically actually stronger than the Hulk. And in order, my understanding, you could even ask the historians, he's even stronger, but the Hulk, when the Hulk gets angrier, as is well known, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So the deeper you get into the fight, the more the scales turn and the Hulk is able to compete.
Geek!